Everyday life is organized around two places, home and work, or school. Home is where we rest, work and school are where we produce. But where do we just exist with others? It happens somewhere in between. Sociologist Ray Oldenburg called this the third place, informal spaces where people gather, connect, and feel a sense of belonging. Spaces like coffee shops, libraries, community centers, parks, and recreation spaces. Today, we'll talk about why third places matter and why recreation has quietly become one of the last systems still supporting them. A third place isn't about productivity, it's about presence. Oldenburg described third places as neutral ground, places where people can come and go freely without obligation or status. They're accessible, they're welcoming, and most importantly, they're social by default. You don't have to host, you don't have to perform, you just show up. Historically, these anchors were woven into the fabric of our neighborhoods. We saw them in the local gym where regulars knew your name, the community center hosting a chaotic pottery class, or the park where the same group gathered for morning coffee and a walk. They were the drop-in programs and the local leagues that gave us a reason to step outside. But many of these spaces have quietly disappeared or become harder to access. And that loss has consequences we're still trying to understand. When third places decline, something subtle but serious happens. Social interactions become scheduled instead of spontaneous. Movement becomes transactional instead of communal. Belonging becomes a luxury, something you have to pay for or be fit enough to join. This isn't just about losing a place to hang out. It's a core driver of what health officials are calling a loneliness epidemic. Even now, years after the world reopened, we haven't returned to a healthy baseline, and experts describe it as a permanent shift in our social habits, not just a temporary side effect of a pandemic. When we lose these spaces, we don't just lose a destination on a map. We lose what sociologist Mark Grenovetter called our weak ties. These aren't our best friends or family. They're the casual acquaintances, the familiar faces at a local Y or recreation center, and the people we recognize on the trail. They are the people who ground us in a community. People don't just lose places to go. They lose places to belong, and that's where recreation enters the picture. Many recreation spaces function as third places, even when they're not labeled that way. Community centers where seniors meet 3 times a week, adult leagues where competition is secondary to connection, walking trails where familiar faces become part of a routine. What makes these spaces different from commercial fitness or entertainment is intent. Recreation isn't designed to maximize profit or efficiency. It's designed to support participation. That design choice matters, because third places only work when people feel welcome to return, again and again, without pressure to perform, spend more, or optimize. Recreation lowers the barrier to entry, and that's what keeps third places alive. Recreation-based third places rarely look dramatic. They rarely trend, and they don't promise transformation in 30 days. But they do something more durable. They create rhythm, weekly programs, seasonal leagues, routine encounters. These repeated, low-stakes interactions are how trust forms. It's how communities recognize themselves. And it's how movement becomes social support rather than individual responsibility. In many communities, recreation is one of the last systems still offering this kind of space, especially for older adults, families, and people outside traditional fitness culture. When we talk about third places, we often focus on the idea, but not the infrastructure. Third places don't sustain themselves. Someone schedules a space, someone staffs it, someone maintains it, and someone ensures it's safe, affordable, and inclusive. Recreation professionals make third places operational. Without them, third places remain as theory. With them, they become lived experiences. The third place isn't disappearing because people don't want connection. It's disappearing because the systems that support it are fragile and often overlooked. Recreation is one of the few systems still holding that space open, quietly, consistently, and with more impact than we usually acknowledge. This is Recreation Matters. If you found this content useful, please like the video to help it reach more people, and subscribe as we continue exploring how recreation works, where it's overlooked, and why it matters.